So our next presenters are Fran Allegra and Pat Smith. Here's their story. Our kids in Miami, Florida created a solution that is inspired by the tragedy of a missing 5-year-old girl. By outfitting the organization's case managers with inexpensive mobile technology, Our Kids has proven that safety, well-being, and permanency can be measured, tracked, and improved. Please join me in welcoming Fran Allegra, the CEO, and Pat Smith, the Chief Information Officer of Our Kids. Good luck, guys. Clickers right here if you need it.
Time and time again, the tragedies unfold across the country. Another case where timely home visits were not done on time.
That is a really hard slideshow to watch. Had enough? We have. Can't these stories be changed? We think so. The common theme of what you saw in those stories is that each of these children needed to be protected. They needed to be visited frequently. They were not protected. They were not visited enough. Is it inevitable? We think so. We think so because we did it. We think it's time for a change. We think it's time to be disruptive. Before I tell you what we did and how we did it, let me tell you why we did it. David mentioned the missing 5-year-old from Florida. In 2001, a toddler disappeared from Florida's foster care system. Her name was Relia Wilson. The scandal that ensued shook Florida's child welfare system to its core. A governor, outraged, put together a panel of experts to figure out why this happened, how it could possibly happen, and please, can't we stop this from ever happening again? So these experts came up with ideas. Some of these ideas were, let's take the DNA and fingerprints of every child as they come into the foster care system. Let's barcode their homes. Let's put special bracelets on them that'll tell us where they are all the time. Let's do that when they first come into care. Let's embed a microchip in them, like you would a new puppy. These business leaders wondered aloud in frustration. If Anheuser-Busch knows where every can of beer is, if American Airlines knows where every one of its jets is, if Hertz knows where every car in its fleet is at this very moment, why can't we know where Florida's foster kids are?
And certainly, a child is more important than a can of beer. Ironically, I started at Our Kids the week that Florida's governor held a press conference and he had caseworkers standing there, and they were holding these enormous devices, the same thing that UPS truck drivers use. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, you're kidding me. A caseworker's gonna take something like that? I was new to this business, but I knew that all the time that I've spent in IT, that if you give someone a piece of equipment, some technology that doesn't work for them, they're just gonna give it back to you. So we put together a project team. It was made up of caseworkers and supervisors and agency staff, and we went out and we followed caseworkers. We went with them on their home visits. We spent all day with them. And we learned what a sometimes difficult, sometimes impossible job they have. But it became abundantly clear to us that if we were going to come up with a technology solution to prevent the kind of tragedies that you just saw, that it had to be easy to use, it had to be confidential. We couldn't risk information on this piece of technology ending up in the wrong hands. And it had to be tamper-proof. If we were going to use it to prevent tragedies, that meant that this technology could not be changed, it could not be tampered with, it had to prove, it had to know, we had to know from it. And we realized that what's the one piece of technology that you won't leave home without? It's the smartphone, right? It's a one piece of technology. So we came up with an app for a smartphone. And this app, what we do is we take information from our child welfare system, we download it to the phone, just the information that's assigned to a particular caseworker, the case name, the child's name, the address where the child is placed. And when the caseworker goes out on their monthly home visit, they use that phone and they take a picture of that child. But that picture now is indelibly stamped. It's stamped with the name of the child, the name of the caseworker, the date, the time, and the GPS coordinates where that visit took place. We now have proof that that visit took place. And the child, by the way, likes to have their picture taken. And as soon as the caseworker looks at that phone and they see that the picture is a good picture, the picture leaves the phone. They hit submit, it's gone. It's never resident on the phone again. Well, we didn't force caseworkers to use this technology. We didn't force it on them. But we launched it, and we asked them if they wanted to use it, and they voluntarily took up this. And this is Karen Sanchez. A few months after we launched, she's got the laptop we gave her, she's got the phone we gave her, and she actually said to us, I feel like I can really get my job done now. You've really given me the tools to do my job. But the real proof is in the outcomes. We had a 50% improvement. 50% improvement in 6 months on on-time case visits. Look for yourself. But we didn't stop there. Fran and I wanted to know, and our board wanted to know, that if these visits were being done, that we could track them. And so we created a dashboard. We created a dashboard that collected information from all these phones and displayed it so management could look at that dashboard and know if a case visit had been done. You see on this dashboard, you see that red that's on there? You see the red? That is a child who wasn't visited. That is a caseworker who's in trouble. That is an opportunity for the supervisor to step in and say, how can I help you?
What was the point of collecting all this data? What was the point of having hundreds of people collect all of this every day, every month, if we couldn't see it in the aggregate? Now, with this dashboard and dashboards like it, the click of a button, all the bosses, all the administrators could see where the problems are. Do you see the preventable tragedy? Perhaps. I knew that with innovations like this, I slept better at night. But something really unexpected and really great happened. Soon after we launched the pilot, the governor and the legislature decided to make a very significant investment in the front line of child welfare in Florida, across the state. They were going to be outfitted with new laptops and new smartphones. And this simple solution was going to be spread across the state. We thought, how wonderful. Fantastic.
But you're probably sitting there and you're saying to yourself, well, that's fine for Miami. That's even fine for Florida, but it won't work for me. Won't work in my state. It's expensive, And we've tried to connect things to our SACWIS system before, our child welfare system, which stands for State Automated Child Welfare Information System. And the feds have shut us down. They won't let us connect anything to it. Otherwise, we'll be out of compliance. I'm here to tell you that this solution is cheap, it is safe, and it's simple. Do you remember what it used to be like to connect to the internet? Remember this sound? Well, now what do? You pick up your smartphone and you have wireless instantaneously. You don't go through that nonsense. And I knew from my business that you can create a simple little program called a web service, and that web service can take data from a mobile device and upload it to a SACWIS system. But I'm being told, Fran and I are both being told by our state, you can't do that. You can't upload to a SACWIS system. And I'm telling you, it's a myth. I got so frustrated. Here we are collecting all this data from all these mobile phones, and I can't upload it to the SACWIS system where it belongs. I got so frustrated that I went out and I read the law for myself. I'm not a lawyer, but I read the law. And you know what it says? It says that a SACWIS system is designed, it is designed to interface and work with other systems. And we showed this to our state and to the feds, and they agreed with us. They gave us permission to do this. And they are encouraging us to continue to do it. We now know that we have tens of thousands of pictures of children in the foster care system in the state of Florida that have been uploaded to our SACWIS system. And every picture is indelibly stamped with the name of the child, the caseworker, the time the picture was taken, the date the picture was taken, where the picture was taken. And it is now part of our SACWIS system. It's part of our state record.
It's reliable. It's tamper-proof. I know some of you are thinking technology doesn't save kids. Tools don't save kids. But this is one tool that we think can help you get that edge, give you a little more information. And that kind of information is extremely powerful, as you saw in the earlier slides. They told us it couldn't happen and it wouldn't be secure. I think we can make bank deposits in our pajamas in our bedroom. If we can do that, we can make things secure. You know what this is? This is like the seatbelt. For those of us who are old enough to remember when car manufacturers reluctantly first started installing seatbelts, they didn't want to do it. Drivers didn't use seatbelts. Passengers didn't wear them. Why? Nobody thought it was important. After all, what was the most important thing to have in a car back then? Ashtrays. Today, which of us would get into a car without seatbelts? This is the seatbelt. When our idea spread across the state, we thought, wow, this is really great. We're done. When it stopped at the Florida border, we said, we're not done. This had to change. And this was an idea worth spreading. Ladies and gentlemen, at the beginning of this talk, I talked to you about a little girl named Rillia Wilson. This is the last photograph of Rillia. Her name means, remember, I love you always. Rillia. Her body has never been found. Her caregiver was convicted of murder. Her caseworker was convicted of fraud. The scandal surrounding Rillia's disappearance unraveled when a new caseworker went to her home to see her. Caregiver answered the door and said, "You people took her 2 years ago." Pat and I think there will never be a case like Rillia's again in Florida because of this solution.
And there shouldn't be in your states either. We want this talk to live on beyond today. That's why we're here. We want to share what we've learned and what we've done with you. So when you get home, just forward the link. These talks will be on the Alliance website. Just forward the link. Forward it on to your supervisor, forward it on to your commissioner, forward it on to your governor. This is the return on investment. This is the ROI, not in saving dollars, but in saving lives.
Use this talk to start a conversation. Be a disruptor. We did it for Rillia. Who will you do it for?
Oh, you want us to stay here?
So thank you, you two. Do you get the sense that momentum beyond Florida is possible and happening now, or is it unfortunately going to take more tragedies to kind of force us along? What's your sense of the momentum as it stands today?
One of the reasons why we wanted to present at the conference was because we'd gotten a lot of inquiries from other states and other administrators, and we kept hearing the myths. It's too expensive, the feds won't like it, can't be done. And so we thought, we have to really get the word out. And what better than to use the Alliance as a platform?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, you guys. Fran and Pat. Good work.